downstairs. I was like, wait, I hang my vest upstairs in the closet, back at the stairs. Had my blue and white jacket downstairs. I was like,
Like moving everything.
I hate it when I do that.
I know. I cannot get in
Unload,
sync, and I
load.
always lay my. I'm just still like a school kid. I lay my stuff out the night before, so I know what I'm going to wear.
Don't happen every time. It's just every now and then.
Yeah. Well, I
50%
took,
of the time, I'm walking through that, I'm in the car.
yeah, yeah.
Trying to get everything as close to the door as possible.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I do, like, motorcycle. It could be beside me where you want it.
Well, and I did a out of habit today. I mean, like, not what I normally do. When I went out to start the truck, I took my bag out with me. And so then when I came back in, and then all my trips up and downstairs, I looked at the bottom of the stairs, where's my bag? And I looked up at the island, and it's not at the island. I'm like, and they're like, oh, you idiot, you already have it out in the truck. See, I have to do things.
Yeah.
Were you standing there holding your bag while you were looking for your bag?
I think I did pretty good this morning, with Greg being there and.
Oh, yeah,
Getting
see,
ready.
that would throw me off when I'm not used to
Yeah,
having everybody,
Yeah, that's.
or not everybody, somebody else, yeah.
Just has the, Zoom invitation next to you.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, so I can talk. Well, that's why it's free, Zoom option. Yeah. Just because of that.
All right, the Quapaw Nation Business Committee regular meeting for Saturday, February the 15th, 2025 will now come to order at 9:01 a.m. Member Davis, would you please lead us in the invocation? Thank you, Madam Chair. Away in Tante Wakanda, Father God in heaven, as we so humbly bow our head before you, Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the many blessings that you bestow upon us. Father, I pray for a special blessing upon each person that is here, Father, at this appointed time. Father, I pray for those that are not here with us for whatever reason. Father God, I thank you for this opportunity for us to gather to discuss the business for the furtherment of our nation. Father, be with each and every one of us this day. Father, continue to lift those and provide comfort and peace that surpasses all understanding for those that are in mourning. Father, just go with us, be with us, lead, guide, and direct us. Forgive us of all things. In Jesus' name, amen. Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please take roll call and declare quorum?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Chair Superdall,
Present.
Vice Chair McKibben,
Present.
Secretary Treasurer Valier, present. Member Mercer,
Present.
Member Davis,
Present.
Member Buffalo,
Present.
Member Gibbs-Water.
Present.
Madam Chair, I declare quorum.
Would you please call for the orders of the day?
Madam Chair, I call for the orders of the day.
Thank you. Business Committee, are there any corrections to the documents listed as part of the consent agenda? The consent agenda includes the January 18th, 2025 meeting minutes, the directors and subcommittee reports as submitted. There has been no objection. Hearing none, we're going to go ahead and proceed to the vote. All those in favor of adopting and approving the January 18th, 2025 meeting minutes, the directors and subcommittee reports as distributed, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The January 18th, 2025 meeting minutes, the directors and subcommittee reports are adopted as distributed. Let's go on to the Business Committee report.
away. The following tribal members passed away since we last met: Ronald Lance, Bryce Benshoof, James Cantrell, Gerald Skip Panther, and Mary McStossel. Please lift these Quapaw families and all families in your prayers, and let us join in a moment of silence. Okay. We do have some announcements this morning. Member Mercer, would you please provide a Ray Property Homes O-Guah-Pah project update?
Yes, Madam Chair. As of the moment now, we are working to complete the interior on houses 9 through 16. We have, this past 2 weeks, they have put up 3 more houses. They are, all but one is under roof, shingles are on the other. They put down protective barrier on the roof of it because of the weather and the weather we're facing. They are inside today working on a couple of the homes, getting the remainder of the interior walls up because of the weather that's going to be coming up possibly Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And we have footings down with framing up for foundation on 2 of the last 3, and then we have a footing in for the 3rd house of the last 9.
Good progress,
If
thank
the
you.
weather will cooperate, we'll make some fast headway here in the next few weeks.
Thank you, Member Mercer. Member Davis, would you give an update on the Quapaw Nation shares at Claremore Indian Hospital?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. The Quapaw Nation has recently met with Rear Admiral Travis Watts, Indian Health Service Director of the Oklahoma City Area Indian Health Service, and Travis Scott, IHS Director of Field Operations of Oklahoma City Area, to discuss the acquisition of Claremore Indian Hospital by Cherokee Nation, as well as informing us of future decisions regarding the Quapaw Nation tribal shares. The Claremore Indian Hospital will no longer be a federal facility effective October 1, 2025, when the Cherokee Nation begins operations as a tribally ran organization. The Quapaw Nation retains the ability to leave their shares with Claremore Indian Hospital or pull them. The shares are utilized for inpatient and outpatient care. Quapaw Nation citizens will remain eligible to be seen at the facility. And there will be further discussions the closer we get to that. So it's not completely final, but we do plan to leave our shares. So, gonna go.
Thank you, Member Davis. Member Buffalo, would you please provide an update on the bear legislation?
Yes, Madam Chair. You will see attached to your minutes a copy of the bills which were introduced last Congress. They, by necessity, need to be reintroduced this Congress, and we don't have the bill numbers this time. As soon as we get them, we'll let the audience know. And as you read through that, those bills are identical, word for word. There's one clause that I need to clarify. It says to certain members of the nation. Certain members of the nation does not mean landowners. It means all living enrolled members of September 27, 2019. But I might say you could call it a landowner bill because in the early 1800s, we all owned the land in common. So in essence, it is a landowner's bill, but it's limited to those descendants enrolled as of September 27, 2019. Not much more I can say about that, but as you read through it, you can see it's going to be a lengthy process. And first thing it's got to do is get through the Congress this year.
Thank you, Member Buffalo. Member Gibbs-Water, would you please give an update on the meeting we had with the University of Arkansas Tribal Liaison?
Yes, ma'am. On Monday the 3rd, we were able to sit down and meet with the gentleman by name of Gregory Jones, who came over from the University of Arkansas. He wanted to reiterate the opportunity for the in-state tuition at the U of A for Native American people and other states belonging to tribes which formerly belonged to Arkansas and whose names are on the rolls of their respective tribal nations. Such nations are the Quapaw, Caddo, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, Delaware, Kickapoo, Osage, Peoria, Shawnee, and the Tunica. He he just really wanted to reiterate the opportunities for all these different Native American peoples and these younger people who are looking for higher education at the University of Arkansas, and remind us to let our folks know, and all of our younger peoples and our folks around here, that it's considered in-state tuition if they come from a tribe from Arkansas. Which is a really good thing. We're continuing to work with higher education to try to get the information out to as many younger folks as we can, or whoever it is seeking higher education. And I know education is one of the big things for all of us in common, and we're just trying to continue to move forward with that part. And for the grounds, we will continue the project with the geotech boring. It's scheduled for the 20th and 21st. Since last month's business committee meeting, the actual boring drill truck broke down over with the company that we're using. So it's been fixed, and we're scheduled for the 20th and 21st. And we'll continue with that and update as we go. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gibbs-Water. Vice Chair McKibben, would you please share some details about the recent Missouri Southern State University and Northeastern Oklahoma tours of the Quapaw Nation?
Yes, ma'am. On Thursday, the 23rd of January, a group from Missouri Southern came down to visit with the tribe and our executive directors, our communications department, along with the Missouri Southern, represented by Brittany Castell, and then as well as Dr. Brad Hodson, executive VP there. Kind of met with our executive directors to discuss kind of the programs we have going and what the classes they have offered that we may be able to coordinate and work together on some education for our future students and some of our current employees as well. They took a tour of our library and museum, our early learning center, our food sovereignty department, our processing plant, and then also a round picture to the Superfund site as well. And then as they kind of got through that, we also met on Monday the 10th, just this past week, with Dr. Darren Grover from NEO. He also met with some of our executive directors and communications team, discussing potential offerings that they may have or may be able to develop to kind of help us with our programs and our courts, criminal justice, ag, business, accounting, things like that, early learning child centers, to develop these classes, and maybe not a whole degree or an associate's degree, but possibly like a certificate program where they can kind of cluster some classes that will benefit us and benefit them as well. So like Joey touched on, University of Arkansas, NEO, MSSU, we are always looking for ways to collaborate to advance our students any way we can, and our employees as well. So
Thank you. Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please provide an update on the potential Argo bioprocessing plant planned for within the exterior boundaries of the Quapaw Nation Reservation?
Madam Chair, some of you may have heard about the bioprocessing plant that is looking to build within the Quapaw Nation Reservation boundaries. That project is being conducted by Argo Development Partners, the Quapaw Nation Business Committee, along with the Quapaw Nation Environmental Department, Culture, and TIPO, as well as the Department of Public Safety, has been working with the USDA and our attorneys to monitor the progress of this plant project. We have sought to obtain all the facts surrounding this bioprocessing plant project. Early this week, the Business Committee, Environmental, TIPO, and DPS met with representatives of Argo Development Partners, Miles Walker, Argo Managing Director, and Paul Gage Capello, VP of Portfolio Operations. Here's what we learned about the bioprocessing plant project. They take poultry litter and convert it into 3 products: a biofuel, a solid fertilizer, and a liquid fertilizer. This is done in a process utilizing anaerobic digestion technology. They have several existing processing plants around the world and have utilized this technology for more than 30 years. While at the meeting, the Argo representatives expressed their realization that the start of the project was inappropriate and the research conducted for it was inadequate. They agreed that they needed to restart the project by conducting appropriate and adequate research. They agreed to work with the Quapaw Nation Environmental and TIPO offices to obtain the appropriate pre-project research. They also agreed that they would provide our Department of Public Safety with a list of chemicals and more detailed processing information so that we can make sure that our DPS will be properly equipped when our DPS may have to respond to a call at their facility. There are several questions that will need to be answered as we go through the process of analyzing whether this kind of process will be safe for our community and environment. As we go through the appropriate pre-project research, those questions should be answered. It was also discussed during the meeting the importance of holding town hall meetings for the community as a means of communicating the impacts this bioprocessing plant will have on the community. It is the intent of the Quapaw Nation Business Committee, Environmental, Culture, and TIPO, as well as the Department of Public Safety, to ensure that any processing or manufacturing plant that wants to establish operations within the boundaries of the Quapaw Nation Reservation will be safe and beneficial for the whole community. We look forward to working with the Argo as we move forward in the pre-project process. Ganage.
Thank you, Secretary Treasurer. One last announcement regarding the Office of Management and Budget's freeze on federal grant dollars. You know, we're all just waiting to see how that plays out. However, we wanted to share a couple of key points regarding the freeze in federal dollars. Social services available to our tribal members are not federally funded. That includes utility assistance, veterans assistance, burial assistance, end of life, and unmet needs. That also includes emergency financial assistance. So those programs are unimpacted. They are not impacted. We did experience a 24-hour period where we could not submit drawdowns on approved grant dollars. Since that time, there has been no impact, and that freeze has been lifted. We did have shutdown of QSA, the remediation work, for one business day until the Environmental Protection Administration and the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality could address the uncertainty of the federal funding. Since that time, there has been no further impact to QSA's work. The key message here is we need to wait and see how this uncertainty plays out. Again, we are not impacted at the current time and will continue to keep you all updated as we monitor this. Moving on, the nation held and is planning some upcoming events that I wanted to go through. Last month, the Special General Council meeting was held on January the 18th. Just as a reminder, the tribal offices will be closed on Monday, February the 17th, in observance of President's Day. The Quapaw Nation Language Department is presenting a winter language workshop. Enrollment is now open for the new language workshop called Deconstructing Quapaw Stories. These class sessions are free and open to language learners of any experience level. Billy Proctor will be conducting the class. Students will learn about the structure of the language by studying a story told in Quapaw as originally transcribed in the 1890s. The first date was January 30th and was very well attended, and future dates are February the 20th and March 27th at 6 p.m. All sessions will be conducted online via Microsoft Teams. The link to sign up can be found online. The Language Department had also started monthly language instruction in the Quapaw Elementary School for all grades. The Quapaw Tribal Library and Oklahoma Humanities are hosting a series of Read, Discuss, Connect events where they read and discuss a series of books on contemporary Native American authors. All sessions will be led by a guest professor, and refreshments will be served. The first event was held on February the 10th, and the next events will be on March 11th, April 10th, and May 8th. Each month they'll be reading a new book, and additional details can be found on the nation's website. The Quapaw Nation Historic Preservation Program hosted a book club on February the 13th. The next book club will be on March the 13th at 6 p.m. in the community building, so here. They will be discussing The Rumble of a Distant Drum. Meals will be provided, and you are asked to please bring your own place setting. For more information, contact the Quapaw Historic Preservation Program Department. The Department of Public Safety is hosting the Guardians of the Heart Conference for the 10th year in a row next week on February 18th to 20th at Downstream. This conference is training for medical, fire, EMS, and law enforcement. Public safety providers come from all over the United States to attend this conference. It allows them to obtain their credit hours to keep up their certification all in one event. Last year was the largest year to date for attendees, having over 750 people. The Education Department will be holding several workshops from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. over the next 2 months. The first series is a financial aid information workshop. One was held on January the 29th, and the next is on February the 26th. Then there'll be a 3-part series budgeting class. The first 2 classes were held on February 5th and 12th, and the last one will be held on the 19th, so just next week. The third series is a scholarship workshop, which will be held on March the 12th and March 26th. These classes are free to everyone, but you must register by noon on the day of the event. Additional information on how to register for each of these workshops can be found online. The Food Sovereignty and the Quapaw Cattle Company, they've got another food distribution going. They'll be giving out 10 pounds of ground beef and 10 pounds of ground bison. The link is available online, and the last day to register is coming up fast. It's on February the 28th by 4 p.m. Pickup dates will be the week of March the 10th to the 15th. To register, you must be a Quapaw Nation tribal member, head of household. The youth program is hosting a youth stomp dance cans making class on March the 1st and 2nd for ages 12 through 24 with parental assistance. This class is being sponsored by a grant from SAMHSA. The exciting news is the class was filled up on the first day of advertising it, so there's a lot of interest out there, and that's wonderful. The Cultural Committee, in collaboration with CCDF, Native Connections Youth Program, O-Guah-Pah Communications, the Grounds Committee, Events Committee, and Quapaw Historic Preservation Program, is planning a spring gathering for April 11th and 12th. It will include cultural classes, a screening of Voices of the O-Guah-Pah, stomp dances, an Easter egg hunt, an Indian football game, a youth powwow, and a meal. So more details to come. We're also working on details for April's Child Abuse Awareness Month. The plans are to have a panel discussion, TV showing, banners, pinwheels, a summer clothing drop-off, T-shirts, etc., like we did last year at the Coleman. As soon as we have more details, we'll get those out. April is also Sexual Assault Awareness Month, with events planned with more details to follow. Just going to give some brief updates as far as the gaming properties. So for Quapaw Casino, the month ending December 31st, 2024, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, EBITDA, totaled $110,000 with a margin of 6.3%. Result missed our budget expectations by $190,000 and represents a decrease of $440,000 from December last year. Even with this dismal month, Q1 finished at 96.7% of budget. Total net revenue from December of 2023 showed a decrease of $370,000. Net income for the month totaled $238,000 with a margin of 13.7%. That represents, unfortunately, a negative budget variance of $106,000. And net income compared to December of last year had a decrease of $425,000. Downstream Casino and Result, the January financial results will not be becoming available until next week, so we'll cover those in the March Business Committee meeting. Regarding Saracen, net gaming revenue in January finished higher than prior year and higher than budget by 12.4%. Volumes in each of the primary revenue sources experienced increases in volumes compared to prior year. Slots continues to be our dominant primary revenue source, with sportsbook and then table games following in the second and third positions. Considerable progress has been made on the development of the Hotel and Event Center. From a budget perspective, the development is a little bit over 50% complete, with all the funds spent to date derived from cash flows from operations. Updates on when the facility will open to the public will be forthcoming. Initial estimates show fall of 2025 opening. This concludes the Business Committee report. Gonna go. Let's go on to the subcommittee reports. So first up, O-Guah-Pah Wisdom Keepers. Grace? Do you need a microphone? Yes? It's on its way.
Uga'xpa. The Wisdom Keepers did meet on February the 6th. We are looking at a spring trip, and we are wanting to schedule some classes for teaching the Quapaw ways. So we're going to get that started. At our last meeting, we also appreciated Joy and Linda coming. We had invited people from the business committee to let us know about the federal freeze on monies. And so they did come, and yes, we are continuing. So that was a good news. We were glad for them to be there. Something that we have started this last meeting is we have one of those little speaker boxes. Many meetings now, you have the box which sits in the center, and you can all speak and be heard. But people have to call in if they're not there with their phone number. We tried it this last meeting, and it worked. So we will continue to do that, and particularly for those elders who are away from our area, they can get in on our meetings as well. So we are pleased about that. So our next meeting will be March the 6th, and that'll be at 1 o'clock over in the museum classroom. Gonna get.
Thank you, Grace. Cultural Committee?
Sorry. Better late than never. The Cultural Committee met yesterday. We had a very long meeting, exactly, talking about some of the past items. We will continue as soon as some funding is received from grants that have been rewritten for continuing on with the list that was prioritized for cultural items, such as, I think the next thing on the list is men's clothing. So we're continuing on with that. Also, we haven't received a lot of pictures. That was our project that's going on now. Older pictures of family members that might have had a traditional dress on, especially, so that we can see what our traditional dress was, going back as far as we can. We did talk about the spring gathering. There's flyers out now discussing more specifically on Friday. There'll be it'll be beginning at 5 o'clock for cultural things and activities for the youth, and there'll also be activities for the adults. And then late that evening, probably about 8 or 8:30, there'll be a screening of the Voices of the O-gah-pah, and all this will take place at the powwow grounds in the arena, unless weather doesn't permit for us to. Also on Saturday morning, will be the Easter egg hunt, and they're going to have blow-ups and other activities and bouncy houses and things like that for the kids all morning long and into the afternoon. There'll be an Indian football game. Of course, there'll be food. There'll be a meal provided, as always, with us. And that evening, then there'll be a youth powwow, and after that, following that, a stomp dance. So we hope that we can send out these. The communications department is going to start correcting and adding dates and times and things more specifically to the agenda as we progress and as the departments come to us with their information. But that's the plan now for April 11th and 12th. So we hope that the weather, right now, Siri says the weather's supposed to be good that weekend, but we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully we can have it at the ground so people can use their camps and things like that and have a great time. So that's our wish anyway. We also discussed the cabinets have been received at Downstream for the dress and the things that were up there that we're going to have on display. And they will probably have those in hopefully by the end of March or first part of April. And we also had discussion about the flag. We are going to get with the business committee on they're starting a program in one of the departments about they call them chests, I think, taking them to classrooms for education purposes. And one of them is about the flag, and it appears as though the flag has been taken and transformed in many ways. So we need to see if we can, there was a resolution way back when, many years ago, about the flag and how it was to appear. And it's been changed apparently several times. When you look at different items, there's different things on the seal. So we need to go back to reveal what that actually is supposed to be registered as and what it's supposed to look like. So we did discuss that. We also discussed transparency and the things that we maybe don't know. And we're going to go to the elder committee about this, but we haven't had time to, of course, yet since yesterday. But we are going to ask, if the elder committee doesn't ask, we are going to ask as a cultural committee for the IT department to bring to us someone that can have classes on how to get information off of the website. Elder people do not seem to be, and me included, get specifically information that they want easily on the website. So we discussed it very thoroughly and decided that classes by the IT department or someone that knows how to manipulate it or work it come and give us the lessons. So that's about all.
Thank you very much. Good update. Sounds like you guys had an extensive meeting yesterday.
Madam Chair, may
Yes,
I?
sir.
Barbara, that was not a resolution. The flag was codified. It was codified. I have a copy of it. I'll get you one. Yes.
The registered site should remain the registered site unless it's changed by general counsel.
It hasn't been changed by general counsel. It's codified, it has a copy of it. It tells what it means and everything like that.
Right, and I said it should not be changed by just whatever department to have 5 clouds or 6 clouds or 3 clouds or the buffalo
I totally,
different or whatever. I mean, it should be like it's registered. It should remain that way.
I totally agree, and you will see flying at Saracen the codified flag. I give them a copy of it, and it has the original flag flying.
Well, talking with the young lady that was fixing the education thing about the flag, she talked to you about it. She talked to me about it. She said that she has found that it's been changed multiple times.
It's been changed multiple times without permission. It's just whoever orders a flag puts words on them.
So that's what we were discussing. It should remain like it's
I'll be glad
supposed
to
be.
supply your committee with a copy of that.
That'd be great. And did you give it to her too for her
Yes, I will.
class thing? Yeah. Okay.
We also have the trademark documentation on it as well.
Yeah, that I knew it had been registered at some point in time, but so those that are ordering things, that then how is it getting changed multiple times? Would be my question. You know, why is it not like the original was supposed to be when people order things?
On to the Constitution Committee. Open forum. You can, is it on this topic or is it something different? Go ahead. Yeah.
Would it be possible to put that in the post so that it's available to every citizen? Because I would love to have a copy of that personally.
As opposed to a stylized version of it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Constitution Committee, Roman. Good morning. Yeah, I can't hear.
Yes. Okay, that works.
Watch, that one's going to come on by itself and there'll be an echo.
Well, the light's yellow now. I don't know. Yellow bad. All right. We'll leave it. All right. Our last report, we received feedback from 2 legal opinions, and we've incorporated that into our document. Where the Constitution Committee is now is we are awaiting the feedback from the Stanford review, and we should expect that in the next couple of weeks. From there, what we're going to do, we're going to have the document publicized the first week in March. We're shooting for March 5th, but again, this depends on the Stanford timeline whenever that returns. In the meantime, I've begun sending out the document for feedback in focus style, trying to attain specific information. Is the document readable? Is it understandable? Does it flow correctly for a general person? So we want to know what this looks like to somebody who has never seen the document and can by looking at the document, can discern what type of governing body is being presented in this and does it meet all of the standards. From there, through March, beginning on March 14th and 15th, that's Friday and Saturday, we're going to start with town hall meetings. So it'll be public, the document will be public ahead of time. And if you have any questions or anybody wants to come dialogue with us about the document, those are going to be the beginning dates. We're going to have some in addition that have not been kind of nailed down yet, but we're going to pick different times of the week, different times of the day for people who may work days, may work nights, may be off Wednesdays instead of weekends. So we're going to try to make ourselves available as much as possible. From there, our goal is to have this in the business committee's hands April 30, so that it could go off to legal before it's presented to general counsel, to your legal team before it goes to general counsel. If you could look it over if this is a document that's worthy of presentation. Yeah, and that's where we're at right now. We have a lot of feelers out for this focused feedback. There's a couple in this room I want to get with that we've spoken to already. We're also going to start looping in our elected committees and some of our appointed committees to provide feedback on this also, because this is the point that we're at now.
That's great, and love to hear those dates, because it sounds like you guys are moving right along with the 2 legal opinions and just awaiting the Stanford. And glad to hear about the focus groups as well as the town hall sessions. That'll help tribal members immensely understand, and be able to provide their feedback. Great. Are there any other subcommittees that would like to present this morning? Frank, Election Committee?
Good morning. Good news here from Roman and the Constitution Committee. Very, very proud of that accomplishment they're coming through. As far as the Election Committee, we had a meeting scheduled last week called due to weather. It looks like this week's going to happen the same thing. Weather's not cooperating at all, but we are getting ready to gear up, get ready for our next election coming up this July. And we will be sending out notices whenever time approaches for that. Other than that, we're going to have, hopefully if the weather permits, schedule a meeting as quickly as possible so we can get all of our supplies ordered, take stock of everything, and make a note of what we should be doing. And that's all I have today.
Frank, I did have a question. Has there been any further progress on perhaps new voting devices?
Not at this time. We haven't been able to locate. We're kind of a niche market. Most of the companies that handle something like that, they either want to come in and control the whole thing, or they want to have it set up to where I think it would be more difficult than what we've got. We can't find something as simple as what we've got is the problem. Right now we have a screen which everybody can see. A lot of them don't have the screens. You can't see what's going on. And like Barbara says, they're not as easy to navigate kind of like a website. So we are still continuing to look on trying to find something that would meet what we want, yet be with a company big enough that we wouldn't have to worry about them going out of business or the owner of the company being murdered, which happened in the case of what we have right now. So we will continue to keep everybody updated on if we're able to make progress on that. And thankfully, what we've got has been working pretty good so far. I guess we've used it so often so much now, everybody's gotten used to how to hit the buttons and change it and re-hit the buttons and finally get it to send and receive. But other than that, that's where we're at on that problem.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it. I know, Billy, you're here. Is there anything to provide on the Economic Development Committee? Anything from Economic Development?
Actually, yes, there's lots of things going on in economic development. We've met with several different potential vendors. We've recently signed an agreement with MAIDS, the Miami Area Economic Development Service, to assist us in helping put some of our properties up for so that they're registered for companies to be able to come to the area. We are not involved in the Argo plan in any way, but no, there's lots of things going on. It's difficult for this committee to talk about some of the things that we're doing because we're talking about going into business. But we have another meeting with you guys on Monday or Tuesday, I believe.
Let's hope it happens and the weather cooperates.
Yeah. But yeah, we're making progress, I believe.
Thank you, Billy. Appreciate that. Any other subcommittees? Let's go on to the executive director reports. So the executive director reports are targeted to the business committee. If others in attendance this morning have questions regarding those reports, please post your questions during open forum. The executive director reports were posted to the tribal website earlier this week. Eric Boone, CFO, do you have anything to report beyond your posted report?
I have nothing to add, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Eric. Trenton Stand, Executive Director of Resource Management, do you have anything additional to report?
I do not, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Trenton. Jerry Holmes, Executive Director of Quapaw Facilities Authority, do you have anything additional to report?
I have nothing to add, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Jerry. Steve Stand, Executive Director of Tribal Member Services, do you have anything further to report?
I have nothing to add, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Steve. Charles Addington, Executive Director of Department of Public Safety, do you have anything further to report?
I have nothing else to add, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Charles. Everett Mandy, Executive Director of Culture, do you have anything further to report?
I also have nothing to add beyond my online report, Madam Chair.
I know Barry Lindiff is not present this morning due to a prior obligation, so I'll ask Callie Bowden. Is there anything additional to report from O-Guah-Pah Communications?
Nothing to add, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Callie. That concludes the executive director reports. Let's go on to the reading correction and approval of phone polls. Member Mercer, would you please take the first two?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. Poll number 41452, the signing of the standard form of agreement. This poll is for approving a resolution authorizing the signing of the standard form of agreement between the Quapaw Nation and the architect for the Tribal Member Services Building. This was sent to a poll to expedite the submission of the grant amendment to the funding agency. This poll was approved. Approval count was 7, and the certification date is 1/23/2025, 7:04 a.m. Poll number 41537, signing of the non-supplanting letter. This poll is to approve the chair, Weena Supernaut, to sign the letter of non-supplanting, which is required for the tribe to be able to seek a funding opportunity for reimbursement through the Office of Violence Against Women. This was sent to a poll because the deadline to file was January 31st, 2025. Approval count 7, certified on 1/27/2025, 6:59 a.m.
Thank you. Member Buffalo, would you please take the next one?
Yes, Madam Chair. Poll number 41602, purchase request Marshall's 2024 Chevrolet Tahoe Interceptors. This poll is to purchase two 2024 Chevrolet Tahoe Police Interceptors. This is sent to a poll due to the limited availability, and the 24 units are becoming increasingly scarce, and the 2025 units are still in production based on field orders already placed. The vote on this was 7-0, approving it. It was certified on 1/27/2025 at 8:32 a.m.
Thank you. Vice Chair McKibben, would you please take the next one?
Yes, ma'am. Poll number 41605 is the renewal of a Quapaw Services Authority liabilities policy. This poll is to authorize Chair Weena Supernaut to sign the renewal of the general liability and excess liability policies for the Quapaw Services Authority. This was sent to a poll because the deadline is February 1st. Approval 7, no rejections, no abstentions. Certified on 1/27/2025 at 8:38 a.m.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and take the next one. This is poll number 41708, revolving line of credit for construction. The poll is for approving the authority for Saracen Development LLC to utilize the revolving line of credit for construction purposes for amounts from the revolver during the fiscal quarter ending March 31st, 2025. This was sent to a poll because the process had to begin midweek, the week of February 27th. It was approved unanimously and certified on January the 28th, 2025. Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please take the next one?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Poll number 41734, Quapaw Nation Gaming Commissioner Appointments. This poll is for approving a resolution to appoint the Quapaw Nation Gaming Agency Commissioners. This was sent to a poll to meet the gaming ordinance requirements for vacancies to be filled in 30 days. The poll was approved with a count of 7. It was certified on 1/30/2025. Poll number 41928, amend Resolution 013025A, Gaming Commissioners Appointments. This poll is for amending the Resolution 013025A, correcting the appointments of the Quapaw Nation Gaming Commissioners' terms from 1 to 2 years per the Quapaw Nation Gaming Ordinance. This was sent to a poll to meet the gaming ordinance requirement for vacancies to be filled in 30 days. This was approved with a count of 7, certified February 5th, 2025.
Thank you. Member Davis, would you please take the next one?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This is poll number 41935. The name of the poll is Clean Energy Planning Development Grant. This poll is to approve the submission of the Clean Energy Planning Development Grant. This was sent to a poll because the deadline is February 6, 2025. There was an approval count of 7, and it was certified on February 6, 2025 at 8:26 a.m.
Thank you. Member Gibbswater, would you take the last two?
Yes, ma'am. Poll number 41937, to appoint the Quapaw Casino members. The poll is to approve the appointment of 2 Quapaw Nation members to the Quapaw Casino Authority. This was sent to a poll to meet the Quapaw Casino Authority requirement for vacancies. There's an approval count of 5, a reject count of 1, and an abstention of 1. The certified date was 2/6/25 at 2:52 p.m. And poll number 41938, to appoint Downstream Development Authority members. This poll is to approve the appointment of the 2 Quapaw Nation members to the Downstream Development Authority. This was sent to a poll to meet Downstream Development Authority requirement for vacancies. There's an approval count of 5, reject count of 1, and an abstention. Certified date is 2/7/25 at 12:20 p.m.
Is there a motion to approve the phone polls?
So move.
Any discussion, Business Committee? All those in favor of approving the phone polls as presented, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Phone polls are approved. We'll now proceed to the oath of office. For the QCA and DDA appointments, would Mick Wilson and Billy Schapp please come forward as Secretary Treasurer Valier will give you the oath of office.
Charter, each officer is required to take an oath of office to faithfully and honestly perform their duties and safeguard the authority's assets for the benefit of the nation. Please raise your right hands. Do you promise to faithfully and honestly perform duties and safeguard the authority's assets for the benefit of the nation? I need an audible response from each of you. Mick? Yes. Billy? Billy Schapp, Treasurer, and Mick Wilson, Secretary, on their new one-year terms to the Downstream Development Authority and Quapaw Casino Authority. We appreciate your service. Congratulations.
Thank you. Let's go on to new business. Would Member Davis, would you take the very first one on 021525-A?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution number 021525-A is a resolution authorizing the signing of the Native Care Administrative and Business Associate Agreements. Whereas this service agreement is made between the Quapaw Nation and Native Care Health, LLC, and its designated agents. Whereas the Quapaw Nation is a tribal nation that sponsors a self-funded tribal nation member health benefit plan, and whereas the Quapaw Nation desires to make available a program of nation member health care benefits under the plan for the general health and welfare of the Quapaw people, and whereas the Quapaw Nation wishes to contract with claims processor to perform certain services with respect to the plan as enumerated below, and whereas the claims processor desires to contract with the Quapaw Nation to perform certain services with respect to the plan as enumerated below, and whereas the parties intend that the claims processor shall not be deemed a fiduciary for the plan within the meaning of the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974, ERISA. Claims processor shall have no discretionary authority or final determinative capability, and whereas the services to be performed by the claims processor shall be limited to those set forth in this agreement, and the performance by the claims processor of such services shall be subject in all respects to review by the Quapaw Nation within the framework of policies, interpretations, rules, practices, and procedures made or established by the Quapaw Nation. And therefore be it resolved in consideration of the premises and mutual covenants contained herein, and for further good and valuable consideration, the receipt and sufficiency of which is hereby acknowledged, the Quapaw Nation Business Committee approves to enter into the Native Care Administrative and Business Associate Agreements. Madam Chair, I would so move to adopt Resolution 021525-A.
So we have a motion on the floor to approve or to adopt 021525-A. Business Committee, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 021525-A, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed?
Madam
Motion.
Chair, I abstain.
Thank you. Thank you, Lloyd.
According to the Ethics Committee.
So we've got 6 approval, 1 abstention. We'll go to the vote. All those in favor of adopting 021525-A, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Sorry, I had to repeat, Lloyd. I got got confused. The motion carries. The vote is 6 approve, 1 abstain. All right. Member Gibbs Water is officially given all the programmatic agreements because there are approximately 45 to 60 pages, so hold on to your hats, folks.
This was 2 paragraphs. Pretty good shape this time. Resolution number 021525-B, a resolution approving the programmatic agreement among the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Vicksburg District, Tribal Nations, SHPO State Historic Preservation Officers, and the Mississippi Levee Board regarding the Yazoo Backwater Area Water Management Project, hereafter referred to the Yazoo Management Backwater Project. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee desires to approve such agreement effective immediately upon its execution by the last party to sign in the interest of protecting the nation's valuable and irreplaceable cultural and historical information and resources. Therefore, be it resolved that the programmatic agreement among the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Vicksburg District, Tribal Nations, SHPO State Historic Preservation Officers, and the Mississippi Levee Board regarding the Yazoo Backwater Area Water Management Project is hereby approved, and further that the chair is hereby authorized to execute and deliver such agreement on behalf of the nation. Madam Chair, I so move to approve resolution number 021525-B.
Great. We've got a motion on the floor for resolution 021525-B. Business Committee, is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving 021525-B, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Resolution 021525-B is adopted. Member Buffalo, would you please take 021525-C?
Yes, Madam Chair. A resolution authorizing the purchase of restricted interest in land, surface only, located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation, and authorizing the chairperson or an authorized representative to execute the purchase on behalf of the Quapaw Nation. Therefore, be it resolved, the Quapaw Nation Business Committee, that the tribal chairperson or an authorized representative of the Quapaw Nation is hereby authorized to negotiate and execute the purchase of restricted interest in land, surface only, located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation, and to promote tribal self-determination and such other uses as may be determined. Be it further resolved that the Quapaw Nation requests the Secretary of the Interior or an authorized representative approve said purchase of undivided interest in the allotments listed on the attachment A. Madam Chair, I move to adopt.
Second. Got a motion on the floor to adopt resolution 021525-C. Business Committee, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of adopting resolution 021525-C, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. All right, Vice Chair McKibben, would you please take 021525-D?
Resolution number 021525-D to approve construction contract between Quapaw Casino Authority to build a new Quapaw Casino. Whereas the Quapaw Casino Authority of Quapaw Nation is an unincorporated instrumentality wholly owned by the nation. Whereas the authority desires to enter into a new construction contract to develop a new gaming facility, approximately 40,000 square feet of new construction, including 15,000 square foot casino, which will house approximately 500 slot machines, warehouse, back of house support offices. Whereas agreed to a GMP that includes all costs such as labor, materials, and overhead, which is the guaranteed maximum price. Whereas the authority has determined that entering into the construction contract is in the best interests of the authority and the nation. Whereas the Business Committee, after consulting with legal counsel who has advised them on the terms set forth in the agreement, believes that it is in the best interest of the nation to approve the agreement. Therefore, be it resolved that the Business Committee finds that the construction documents and any other exhibits in connection therewith or required thereby containing such terms and conditions, setting forth such rights and obligations, and otherwise addressing or dealing with such subjects or matters determined to be necessary, appropriate, or desirable by the authorized person executing the same, the execution thereof by such authorized person to be conclusive evidence of such determination be, and they thereby are approved, authorized, and confirmed in all respects. Be it further resolved that any member of the Business Committee is hereby authorized and directed to negotiate, execute, and deliver in the name and on behalf of the authority the construction documents together with any amendments or modifications to the forms thereof attached hereto, as such authorized person may deem necessary or desirable, and in the authority's or nation's best interest, as the case may be, as conclusively evidenced by the taking of such action or the execution and delivery of such agreements, instruments, or documents as the case may be, and such documents are hereby confirmed and approved, such approval to be conclusively evidenced by the execution and delivery of the final forms of the construction documents by the authorized person, and make all appropriate regulatory filings in connection with the execution, delivery, and performance of the construction documents together with any amendments or modifications thereto. Further resolved that upon the execution and delivery of the construction documents together with any amendments or modifications thereto shall be the valid and binding obligations of the nation enforceable in accordance with their respective terms. Further resolved that in addition to and without limiting the foregoing, the authorized persons be and each of them hereby is authorized, empowered, and directed to take or cause to be taken such further action and to execute and deliver or cause to be delivered for and in the name and on behalf of the authority, such other instruments, agreements, and certifications as may be contemplated by the construction documents, and to take such other actions as may hereafter be necessary and appropriate to carry out the obligations of the nation thereunder, including future amendments, modifications, or supplements, or additional documents and agreements that may be necessary and appropriate to the construction documents, and all action heretofore taken by such persons and in connection with the foregoing recitals and resolutions be, and it hereby is approved, ratified, and confirmed in all respects as the act and deed of the nation. Further resolved, this resolution shall supersede any prior or currently existing resolutions or other actions of the nations or any of its officers, employees, or agents, subdivisions, agencies, or instrumentalities that is contrary to the nation's authorized or contemplated herein or in a document authorized hereunder to the extent that it is so contrary. Further resolved that this resolution shall become effective as of the date and time of its passage and approved by the nation. I move to adopt resolution number 021525D.
Second. Got a motion on the floor to adopt resolution 021525-D. Business Committee, is there any discussion? I just wanted to add one thing, that this is basically to commence and to finalize the agreements so that we can start the Quapaw Casino construction. This day has been a long time in coming, and we're here only because of the hard work, the dedication, and the commitment the Quapaw Casino and its employees have had to our patrons. The good news is the Quapaw Nation does not expect to enter into any additional debt in order to perform this, really just great outcome where we can have a new Quapaw Casino that's basically up to snuff for both our employees as well as our patrons. So this is a really happy occasion. Any further discussion? All right, let's proceed to the vote. All those in favor of adopting 021525-D, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. 021525-D, approval of the Quapaw Casino construction contract is approved. All right, let's move on to donation, and we have 6 of them this morning. The first is the Miami War Dog Baseball, and I think Amy Mercer is on Zoom. If we could try to unmute her line, that sure would be good.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
We sure can, thank you.
Thank you for having me. So I'm here today on behalf of the Miami War Dog Baseball Booster Club. We have about 44 players from the 7th through the 12th grade. About 30% of those are Native American. We also have Chase McCormick and Bryce Barnes, who are Donna Mercer's grandsons. Chase is a senior this year. And we have Tristan Hardcastle, who's son to Carla Hardcastle, and then Maddox Mercer, who's my son. Those are included in those 44 players. So we're here today to ask for $450 for an outfield fence sign advertisement, which you guys currently have in our center field. The sign's in good condition and it looks good. I don't think it'll need to be replaced for several years. So the $450 is just kind of an annual renewal for that. We collect annual renewal fees from almost 50 sponsors, and that really is our main source of revenue into that program. We collect between $12,000 and $14,000 on outfield fence sign revenue, and it takes every bit of that plus more money fundraising just to kind of operate like our general budget. So some of the operating expenses for Warthog Baseball include ryegrass, which is several $1,000s, turfus, fertilizer, uniforms, equipment such as bats, screens, nets. This year we needed a new batting cage door, and also baseballs, which surprisingly enough, at least to me, were one of the most expensive line items in our budget at about $5 a baseball. We're also going to try to take our players to Oklahoma City over spring break. A lot of teams from around the area, like Claremore, Verdigris, Wagner, Fort Gibson, they actually take their teams down to a tournament down south that kind of collaborates with Major League Baseball spring training to be able to watch an MLB game and actually play in a tournament. That's eventually a dream of ours, but this year we're going to take our kids to Oklahoma City for a night or two overnight. Jared White from the Wyandotte area, I don't know if any of you all know him, Rob and Teresa White's son. He actually coaches at Bishop McGinnis, which is a team down in Oklahoma City, and Coach Mercer, our coach, coached him back in high school during the summer, and they've stayed in contact. So Miami is going to go down and play his team, and then we're going to try to watch an OU baseball game over spring break. So that's going to be a little additional cost for us that we're excited to be able to get to take the boys to do something over spring break. So those are some examples of what we'll use the money collected from all those outfield fence sign advertisements on. And we would just really appreciate your support on that.
Amy, thank you. Business Committee, are there any additional questions for Amy?
I do have one question, Amy. I just want to clarify the amount of the donation that you're requesting. I heard you say that you were requesting 450, but all of our documents show 400.
You're right. It is 400. I'm sorry. You have an 8 by 8 foot sign, and those are 400. I apologize.
Thank you for that clarification.
Great. So we've got a motion to approve the $400 sign renewal. All those in favor of approving the donation in the amount of $400, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries, and the donation in the amount of $400 is approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy. Our next one is Fox Sports Baseball Team, and that is, let's see, I see Skylar here and Gibson. I think, Mikhail, you got the microphone to work, right?
I don't need one. We're good.
It's primarily for the folks on Zoom to hear, so thank you.
Does it work? Yeah, it works. Perfect. I'm loud enough. So, first off, thank you for the business committee for considering this donation. I brought my son. This is Gibson, and so he plays on a travel baseball team out of Joplin. And so this donation goes to different things. I'm going to have him tell you what it's for, because I think if it's for him, I think he should be the one telling you what it's for. So
It's for uniforms and tournament fees.
We travel. We go to Kansas City, Tulsa, Alabama. Do a lot of different things with travel baseball, and so these fees go directly to him, not other players on his team, and so it'll be directly for tribal citizen. He enjoys playing the game, and so we're trying to give him every opportunity we can. So, thank you guys.
Thank you. Gibson, thank you so much for explaining to us what this donation is for.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to, I know the donation request says for $250, but I do know that it's very expensive to travel and the different things, so I would like to increase that donation request to $500 for this tribal member.
Second. Business Committee, are there any additional questions regarding this donation? Let's go to the vote. All those in favor of approving the $500 donation, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries, and the $500 donation is approved. Thank you, Skylar. Thank you, Gibson. All right, we're going to go on to Fairland High School after prom. Let's see, and that's Ashley Clark. Now, Ashley or Whitney will be on Zoom. Can we get Ashley Clark or Whitney's mic unmuted on Zoom, please? Not on? Not in the room? Okay. Moving on. Let's go on to Commerce Days 2025, and that is Michael Sweeten. Thank you for being here this morning, Michael.
Morning, members of the BC.
Morning.
My name is Michael Sweeten. I'm here on behalf of Commerce Days and the Commerce Parks Authority. We're coming to ask for a donation for our festival in May 21st through the 24th. That's held over at the Quapaw, at the Commerce High School within the Quapaw Nation boundaries. It's a 4-night event: live music, carnival, food vendors, and regular vendors. We try to do a safe family fun festival, and we can't do this without the help of our sponsors. What the money goes for is to advertise bands and purchase stuff for our kids events. Saturday morning we do kids events at Sill Park behind Tiger Stop. We do turtle races, frog races, hay scrambles. Then we do a fire truck treasure hunt throughout the community. We had little matchbox cars, and every car you find, you get some cash for it. It's just a nice fun festival, something to do safe in the town. The marshals have been wonderful coming over to secure our event for us, and we appreciate them. But I'm just coming with you to ask, you see about a donation. We also do a $5 discount on pre-sale wristbands for first responders, healthcare workers, teachers, and military. Another thing that we potentially could do if the tribe is interested is $5 off for any Quapaw Nation member as well, if the tribe would be interested in doing that. I know it's not a whole lot, but it does save money, and every little bit helps. And that $5 might save something for people that can't come. So,
Thank you so much, Michael. Are there any further questions for Michael?
Second.
Great. So we've got a motion on the floor for a donation in the amount of $500. Business Committee, any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the $500 donation for the City of Commerce Commerce Days, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The donation in the amount of $500 is approved. Okay, so we'll move on to Miami High School after prom. And Tracy Cook, thank you for being here this morning, Tracy.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Cook. I am representing the Miami after prom. we are looking for donations for possibly activities for the children, or for the kids after prom. We have a total of 147 Native American students, 11 of those being Quapaw tribe. After prom is funded solely on donations and fundraisers. It's not anything to do with the school. It's all the parents come together and create a safe environment for them to come after prom, continue to celebrate. We provide meals, activities, prizes, anything we can to keep them there and keep them safe. They're provided a meal when they get there, and we also provide them with breakfast. So we are asking for anything that you guys are willing to donate to help with that.
Any further questions for Tracy?
Madam Chair, I'll move to donate $500 to the Miami High School After Prom Committee.
Second.
Okay, we've got another motion on the floor to approve the Miami High School After Prom donation in the amount of $500. Any further discussion, BC? All those in favor of approving the $500 donation for Miami High School After Prom, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries, and the donation in the amount of $500 is approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, now we've got the Ellick family, the Celebration of Life event. Thank you for being here this morning. Good morning.
First, I'd like to let y'all know that just a little after the New Year's, Blakeland had her scans and everything came back good. So she's 2 years and 2 months cancer free. And we're going to have another little dance for her on Celebration of Life on March 15th at the Miami Nation Council Building out west of Newman Road there in Miami. What we're doing is we're going to be asking for $500 today and one room for our MC that's coming in out of town for him to be able to stay in after the dance. And the rest of the money is going to go for the expenses for the drum, for the dancers, and other items that we need to put this on. So, and I'd like to invite everybody to come out and dance with us. Enjoy the afternoon on the 15th. We're going to have gourd dance starts at 2 to 5, and then dinner will be served, and then we'll finish up 6 to 8 with gourd dance. So, and it's not just celebrate her; it's everybody that's fighting, battle cancer, lost loved ones to it, and be just dancing and singing for everybody that's going through this right now. So I would appreciate your donation.
And all the fundraising, all the proceeds go to St. Jude's, is that correct? And I know last year I was just, wow, it was a beautiful thing last year.
Brought in that day, Billy and Katie take and send down to St. Jude's. So that's what all this is about, is for the kids.
Thank you, Virginia.
Madam Chair, I would move to, or I make a motion to approve the request of $500 for the Ellick family toward the Celebration of Life gourd dance.
Second.
All right, we got a motion on the floor for the donation in the amount of $500 for the Celebration of Life event. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the $500 donation, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The donation in the amount of $500 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia.
All right, so we're going to go on to open forum. So an individual must have submitted the form or must pertain to topics on today's agenda. There is a 5-minute time limit, one trip to the podium. Please be respectful. Please use the microphone so those on Zoom can hear. 2 individuals submitted a form this week, so we're going to go to those first 2, and then I've got a third one. So first one is Alfred Cricket Rice. And remember, Cricket, there's a 5-minute time limit. And if we need additional follow-up time, we can clearly do that, all right?
Good morning, relatives. My name is Cricket Rice, and real quick, I just want to go ahead and give you what it is that we have been working on. A brother of mine, Mr. George Valier, and I, we had talked about this, and this is a project in which we have been working on for roughly about 15 to 16 years. And roughly about a couple of years after that, I'd spoken with my mother, and I spoke with a couple of individuals who are Ponca people, as well as individuals, our elders here. And for a number of years, our Quapaw people, we don't have a flag song except for the one that I had composed. We don't have any veteran songs. We don't have any memorial songs. In other words, our Quapaw people, we don't have any powwow songs of our own. So what it is that myself, I composed roughly about 32 songs. And I have flag songs, memorial songs, veteran songs, gore dance songs, round dance songs, powwow songs, and even family songs. And what it is we had gotten together, and we'd like to take these songs and put them on CD for our elders. Number 2, even put it on Spotify, if you will. But the thing is that this way that our Quapaw people will have our own songs, because how many years have we gone to Quapaw Powwow, and it's good that we invite different individuals from Kiowa, Comanche, Ponca, Pawnee, Osage, Oto, different tribes like this coming in. But when they come in, they always sing their songs. So what we had thought about is, it'd be nice to hear our own songs for our people, our young ones, and future generations to utilize and learn and teach their future generations as, us, we go on to this next world, as we call it. But that's what I just wanted to do is that I did get a list of individuals who's going to come in and help us sing. We have roughly about 17 singers that come in all over the state of Oklahoma, as well as different areas as well. And these individuals, they were kind of jumping at the chance to be a part of this. And I'm very proud of this. I'm very happy. This is a tremendous gift that I'm wanting to give, not just to the business committee, but our future generations, our Quapaw people, even our elders that are no longer here. And these songs are made to uplift, and they're made to make people feel good, make people feel proud of being O-gah-pah. This is what this is all about. So that's what I wanted to do is that, like I said, we'd like to take care of this coming March. There's only 2 dates available, and all of these singers that we got together, we're just trying to figure out what's going to work out best, because some of them have jobs, that sort of thing. So what it is they're going to come in. We'd like to have it down at the powwow grounds, weather permitting, and have our singers come in, and we'll do these songs. But yet at the same time, too, I'm asking upon the committee as well as the people. The old days when we had people come in, we used to take care of them. We used to feed them. We used to put them up. We used to do so many different things. And that's what I'd like to do is all of our singers that are coming in from a long distance, I'd like to get them some mazaska, money, to take care of the travel expenses back and back, as well as possibly get them a room at the casino that they could have a place to stay, and possibly have some family members come together from different families that come in and make these dinners and feed them, if not, at the casino as well. So I'm not looking for any money. It's something that I've been working on, and I'm very proud to do this. I'm very happy to do this. And we just have a lot of things going, and these CDs, they're not going to be cheap. They're not going to be free. I did talk to my Uncle J.R. Matthews. He said, well, I have a company. I've done a lot of research in different companies, different powwow record labels and this and that, and it's going to cost a lot of money for us to go there. $10,000 to $12,000 for us to go there, but I found an individual who's going to come in to do it for $500, just asking for $500, place to stay and something to eat, and we'd like to get these recorded, like I said, within 1 day. It may take 2, depending on how many songs are, it takes a while to get these down, but from now until that time, this coming March, you have 2 dates. We're going to have like singing sessions here, possible, and individuals can come in and learn these songs, and that way when that time comes, we record them, they'll be really crisp and clean, and something, for us people, our Quapaw people, to be very proud of. So real quick about my background, I come from the Giswater descendants. I'm a family member, and it's our right to make songs. That's what our people done. We've composed many flag songs and different individual songs all across the United States, and that's what we want to do here for our Ponca people, because we've been dancing a long time, and the thing is I want to continue the dancing for so many future generations. So that's what I just wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Cricket. We appreciate it. These 17 singers that you talked about from throughout Oklahoma, are they all Quapaw?
No, ma'am. The thing is that for those of you who are familiar with our Eloshka ways and are dancing, you have to have a certain right in order to be out there to dance. You had to pay for your way in order to get to this arena. A lot of you elders know, a lot of individuals know that when you get out there and dance, you don't see something, put it on, and just get out there. There's so much more to that. You have to get a rights to dance certain ways. And also, you have to get a right to actually dance into that seat, out into that arena. Our Quapaw people used to have giveaways. Individuals come on shunkas, these horses, and they'd go to different camps and hand off to different things like this in order to have a seat in that arena. And when we dance in this arena, we start from the beginning to the end. It's just how it is. It's kind of a circle of life as we dance here. So we think about our relatives. So with that being said, having the rights to dance, it's going to be the same way as far as our singers are concerned as well. In order to be a singer, you just don't grab a stick and go to singing practice and then just start going out to that drum. There's so much more involved with that. You have to earn the rights for a place to be seated out there. You have to have a giveaway. There's certain things that you have to do in order to, like I said, get this right to be out there and sing. Now, unfortunately, there are only roughly about 4 to 5 individuals. George and I, we thought about this, put our heads together. And the thing is that there's no Quapaw people that have a right to sing at that drum as far as we know, as far as we were taught, as far as we were shown. So with that being said, we started looking at these individuals, and I've contacted them, and I just unable to make contact with 2 or 3 of them, but the rest of them were pretty much gun-ho. So we had to open it up. So what I did is I contacted individuals who are 1, Quapaw by blood, 2, married into a Quapaw. For example, if somebody who's married in and have that right, that goes as well. And then also 2 individuals who are adopted by our Quapaw families. So we have a list of Ponkas, Otos, Comanches, Kiowas, Osages, and even our Quapaw people that are willing to come in and wanting to sing. So that's what we had to do. So I'm a firm believer as far as like that Native American church or Eloshka ways or anything like this, especially with that arena. I grew up in it. If you don't do things the right way according to, Wakanda, God, you may not necessarily hurt yourself, but you could hurt other individuals. It can make harm for everybody else. I know that's kind of hard to understand for some individuals, but with that being said, I'm just trying to do the best I can from what I was shown and from what I was taught. George, my brother, he said the same thing. So we wanted to open it up to individuals who have that right to sing, who's wanting to come in and help us. So that's the purpose of this and the reasons.
Cricket, thank you for coming and sharing this information with us this morning. Give the business committee an opportunity to consider, and we'll be back in touch with you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
The other individual who had already submitted an open form was Barbara Kaiser Collier.
Hello again. As I'm the elder of our family now, I'm coming on behalf of the Beaver family, Bear family. We had a contract through the Bureau of Indian Affairs and the nation's realty department several years ago with a company called Flint Rock, who was contracting the chat from the Ritz chat pile that the family has ownership of. And they left owing us a lot of money. The Bureau of Indian Affairs, as you know, does not react very quickly or very confidently, I guess you could say. The last involvement that the Bureau reached out to their solicitor was May 5th, 2020. Now, that's been 5 years ago almost, and we still haven't been told anything about the status of the lawsuit, or if there even is a lawsuit from the solicitor and the involvement thereof. So I'm requesting that the tribe, either you all could possibly write a letter to the BIA or the solicitor's office, or have your attorneys do it on behalf of this for the family to continue on for them trying to retrieve the funds that we are owed.
Barbara, would it be okay with you if I shared your name and contact information with the attorneys to get in touch with you directly?
Certainly, yes.
Okay, happy to do so. Thank you.
And on my report back from the cultural committee too, I'd like to add, there wasn't vendors mentioned on our flyer, but any vendors that are interested in coming to the gathering can contact me, and we'll have that information on the new flyer that comes out. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to hear that.
I do have one quick question about the spring gathering. You had stated that there would be people that would be camping. Is there going to be camper registration?
No,
Everybody
we
just-
haven't planned any. Just, last year there were a lot of complaints because it wasn't at the powwow grounds, and it was cold weather, and it was in November, and so they want a lot of the comments that we got about the place and the time. So we made the time frame where it's going to be at least warm enough, we hope, to have it, and so people can camp, and it'll be over 2 days, so they would have reason to be at their camp. But that's their preference if they want to camp. We were just going to have to get with the administration here, though, to make sure that there's electric and water and so on and so forth, whatever we need to do for that. And the grounds committee, I think, is taking care of that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
He's trying to hide on us,
he
though,
is. He's back
Chayton.
there trying to hide.
While talking about that, I would just like to mention for everybody, with the ongoing construction and dirt work going on down here through the grounds, I would please advise everybody who, if weather does permit and you decide to camp, to be cautious because of the construction and all the dirt work. And if you could, spread the word. There's a lot of camps throughout the grounds that they like to leave their stuff outside of their canopy, and it makes it a very difficult time to upkeep and move around because you're not quite sure of whose is what and what's where, and everybody's kind of just leaving their stuff around. So for all the folks, if you could spread the word to pick up their stuff and put it inside their canopy space and kind of centralize it, so that way all the grounds guys can work freely without anything in their way on top of the upcoming continued construction and dirt work. Just trying to prevent damage or loss of anybody's camp property, family's property. So I just wanted to say that much, at least while we're talking about it.
Thank you. We did have one additional requester that's not on the agenda. Blaze Fagan and Henry Ellick, would you like to address?
I'm Blaze Fagan. What we're requesting is to start up for the Veteran Society, make it into like a subcommittee. That way we can be prepared for the color guard, for the powwow, and any other time it needs, like downstream events. So, anything else? That's what we're looking for.
Great, thank you. I think you'll find there's a lot of support on the part of the business committee for a veterans society / subcommittee. Thank you. So that's everybody who submitted the form. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on a topic from today's agenda? Melinda, is this on the Veteran Society or some other topic?
No, this is on the road construction. If there's any little danger spots, we put some cones out, because like the last time where I went.
Oh, on the powwow grounds?
Yeah, because it was pretty wild. You know what I'm talking about, Joey?
I understand what you're talking about. And there'll be signs and little fence up and any kind of caution zones. Yeah.
So powwow grounds, hazard cones. Okay. I'm trying to write it down.
Glow-in-the-dark spray paint.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on a topic from today's agenda during open forum?
I just wanted to say, Sean Ray did give us a song last year, a beautiful song, and I think it was Sean Ray and Che and Billy kind of came together and composed us a song that they gave us last year. So
Beautiful.
I don't think I've ever really gotten a chance to actually formally thank them. So I want to just thank them for giving us that song, because I know we've had that, what they call that Quapaw song for a while, even though I'm not a drummer singer, but I knew we had that Quapaw song, kind of what we call it, right? Yeah. And Sean Ray gave us another one. So, and I think it's great that Cricket has this idea. I just would like some more information on it to know how to proceed. But thank you, Sean Ray and Che and Billy, for working on that for us, for our people. Appreciate it.
Hearing nothing further, Member Mercer, would you please close us out in prayer?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We stand adjourned.